sounds a bit of a cliche, but it really is life-changing. I just didn't know that I could be this happy without all this worry. We have this really, this perception sometimes that growth has to be painful, it has to be hard, you've got to go through a lot of trauma to get through things, and it hasn't been that at all. Like, I've been able to overcome you know, like my anxiety and, you know, helped my depression, but it hasn't been a painful experience or anything. You're just coming and sitting and listening to an audio track and then listening to audio at home. So yeah, well, growth doesn't have to be always painful, it can be pleasurable. So originally it was mainly for my anxiety. I was having really bad anxiety attacks, and they it just sort of clouded everything that I did. I couldn't really do anything without the anxiety being present. Sure, so I have quite a few, or I had quite a few triggers. So it could be you know, food related, sometimes certain social situations, thinking of things in the future as well could be a bit of a trigger. And they would normally come on in the evening, and it would basically take up my whole evening of trying to calm myself down using medication and just trying to escape the anxiety and what was happening to me. And then it would sort of flow on. It got to a point it was happening so regularly that my cortisol levels were just constantly at a really high level. So I was constantly feeling on edge and anxious. I found it really hard to clearly think about anything without having the anxiety there. So it just sort of clouded everything, really. It made it really hard for my husband as well, because he would have to, you know, he'd be there for me and support me sort of time after time with the same things. So it took a toll on him as well, I'm sure. I would sort of cry before work, during work, after work, and just for no reason. It would just be, I'd have these knots in my stomach and I wouldn't really know why, and it became hard to really distinguish what was anxiety and what wasn't, because it just sort of crept into every area. So I tried some medications. I've done a lot of like self-inner work. I've done some therapy before, lots of meditation, that kind of thing. This has really been the one thing that's actually stuck and made a difference. So I had a fair idea from looking at other people's video testimonials and reading the website and things. I kind of knew what to expect. And at that point I was feeling quite desperate, so I was kind of willing to try anything really. It was super relaxing, and I just remember feeling like a windscreen wiper had just wiped over my brain and just cleared it. Yeah, 1 to 2 weeks I felt quite a big shift quite quickly, and then each week just more and more, and it's like you relax just more and more, and it's not like I'm a new person, it's more that I've stepped into who I actually am without the anxiety, without the worries, the fears, everything that comes with it. It's more, I've become more me without anything else. Work's probably been the hugest difference because it's you know, Monday to Friday, you know, full time, so it's the quickest way to see the changes for me. Problems and things just wash over me. It just, you know, I hardly raise an eyebrow to things that normally would get me really upset and stressed out or worried or anxious. It's quite hard to, you know, get really drawn in and upset about something. I'm able to see things with so much more perspective now, and what's in my control and what's not. Yeah. Whereas I knew that before, I just couldn't apply it. I've always enjoyed work, but it's so much easier now. I was sceptical Like, I'm just sceptical about most things. I think you'll only know if you try it yourself. Every person's going to be different, but I don't see how you wouldn't get a good result from it, just from my own experience now. And, you know, I remember the facilitator saying to me, I'm so excited for you because I know what's to come for you. And I was okay, yeah, I'll take your word for it, but yeah, it is actually true. Like it does, yeah, it makes a huge difference. I haven't quite finished, I've got 2 sessions left, and it's a bit bittersweet because I'm loving coming here weekly, but then I also know, you know, by the time I've done the 12th session, I'll just be like set up, you know, to go on my own. So definitely the main thing was my anxiety, but I've also had depression since I was a teenager. So that's definitely made a big impact as well. I kind of looked at that as a side bonus, as that if it made a difference to my depression as well, fantastic, but anxiety was the main focus. So yeah, I have no doubt I'll be able to reduce my medication and, you know, come off the medication, which I've never before felt like I've been in the right space or comfortable enough to do, but now I just feel strong enough and that I've got the tools that I can, like with no fear. Wow. Yeah, I do really believe the power of the mind and the body and the spirit, and there's things that we can't even see. This is something you can't see, but it works. Yeah. You know, I think that's probably the thing. You can't see it. That's why there's so much skepticism there. Well, there's no pill you take or anything, but it works. There's a few things for me, like I didn't realise how much anxiety avoidance behaviour I was enabling in myself. There's so much food I can eat without even worrying about it. Things like going out socially without worrying about it. I have become more confident in who I am. I just don't have that grey cloud of worry over me all the time. And I feel like I'm really just at the very beginning only. After so many sessions still, I just know I'm just going to go even further from here as well.